This could be one of my all-time favorite crypto gaming projects, and actually I might start buying some very soon. Do you want to know why? Watch this video and you'll find out. So what exactly is MYRIA? In very simple terms, it's a layer 2, it's built on Ethereum, and it uses ZK rollups to make sure that there are zero gas transactions, because when you're building a game, this is a very key component. And also they're focused like a game studio on introducing a lot of games into the system and helping them develop and then build a marketplace for them, and the whole things that pretty much every gaming ecosystem is trying to be. When it comes to the leaders in the space, these are, in my opinion, IMX and Beam, but MYRIA is also a very interesting low cap project. And one of the main reasons I like it actually is that it's because it's very similar to IMX when it comes to tech. It's a layer 2, as I said, on Ethereum, and the transactions should be super fast, and layer 2s generally have a lot of adoption and actually fall under a separate narrative. So MYRIA could do well as the layer 2 narrative potentially is playing out in the future. ZK Sync is the biggest pretty much ZK rollup that is coming out soon, and this being also a ZK rollup could play into that narrative too. And this is one of the reasons that MYRIA has been getting traction. And here on Etherscan you can see that their unique holders is currently 18,000, and the number when I was initially doing my research was way lower than this on the unique holders. So just keep this in mind. This is not all great, and definitely there's also a minus part on this that I don't really like, but we're going to look into it a bit later. Another thing that I really like is that they're already onboarding a bunch of games. The way they do it is through these so-called SDKs. So SDKs are very important for the space. They pretty much make the job of the developer very easy, and they can build and integrate their games and integrate the Web3 solutions that they're going to be needing. So the tokens and the marketplaces and everything, the wallets. And MYRIA is making it easy for the developers to come on board. And that is seen by the number of games that are starting to adopt. They claim that they have onboarded already like 200 or so games. Honestly, I don't see them on the website, all of these games, but as you can see, there are a bunch of games. One of them is already coming soon, so Meta Rush, and also I see another one here, the Billiards Clash. So these will be expected to come on board at some point and probably launch. But keep in mind, game development is not very easy, so you probably need to give them some more time. And actually, as we speak, even more and more games are joining them. Heaven's Compass is one of the latest ones. This is, if I remember correctly, a first shooter. Yeah, it's a Web3 shooter, and pretty much they've been building a base of games, and hopefully we'll be able to see also these games develop and actually deliver results, because this is actually what's going to drive the value of the token for the holders. When we talk about the token, the other thing that I really like is that it's planned for the MYRIA token to have real utility. So all the transactions, or at least part of the transactions, will be collected in MYRIA, so there will be some real action. We need to see what this percentage will look like, because right now they don't have active games, they don't have active marketplaces. So at this point it's still pretty much speculation. But if it's anything reasonable, or even if they use MYRIA as all of the transactions, not just like a little percentage, like 5 or 10%, that would be great. Another way to use the MYRIA token will be through nodes. So currently these are still not live, and we're going to talk about them in a bit, but look out for them, and you'll be obviously be able to purchase a node with MYRIA tokens and then get rewards, MYRIA rewards for keeping the network safe. Staking is another one that they're going to be implementing. Still, it's not live, but it's going to be good. This kind of has Pump-Mentos all over it. Like, they're going to have the nodes, and then you're going to have staking, and you're going to get rewards from the protocol fees. We need to see if this will be a sustainable model here. But we're going to talk about this in the things that I don't like section. And of course, governance, which is pretty much, every token has it. However, on the tokenomics side, what is starting to get me worried, and it's really one of the things that I don't really like about this project, is that First, the node rewards are around 40%, the ecosystem fund is another 40%, and then project development and so on, these are at 20+%, which pretty much means that the owners of the projects have this, and then this will be inflation. So pretty much 80% of the entire supply will be inflation for the MYRIA tokens. And since they haven't started the nodes and so on, they have a very low circulating supply. Let's go to CoinGecko and double check this. So yeah, you can see here the max supply is at 50 billion. They currently have only 10 billion in circulation. So plenty of inflation to come. And actually, as we're here in CoinGecko, you'll see that they're trading on some reputable exchanges like Bybit. OKX is a big Asian exchange also. BitGet, MEXC, Gate.io, these are relatively big exchanges. And also it's trading on Uniswap. And as you can see, the volume though is not great. I mean, a few million bucks for this coin is not bad, but again, it's not that easy. And if you want to build into a position, especially at this market cap, I think there's quite a bit of risk as of right now. Probably they might get some listings later down the pipe, but for now, I definitely think if you decide to average into this, be careful with the size that you will be going into. Another concern is that with all of those games that are coming out, and it's good that they have a bunch of games, we don't know who's actually going to be playing those games. It's not clear. We don't have any data. There are no active players since none of this has launched. And if you go to the websites of these games, they don't really see like that exciting for users. I mean, this has 35,000 followers on Twitter, but there are a bunch of other games that have in the hundreds of thousands of followers. And as you can see by the graphics, it looks alright, it looks good, it's kind of interesting, but I don't know if they will get adoption and for how long, because this is the key here for a sustainable gaming project and for sustainable economy, to have good games that people play, they get their NFTs and they're gonna go and sell it and move to the other game within the ecosystem and so on. This is what will create real value. I don't know if this Meta Rush will be that good. Definitely it's not a AAA game in my opinion, but let's see. It's it's gonna play out sooner rather than later with these games, and we're gonna see if there's gonna be some actual quality games and obviously some players that are gonna play within them. And when it comes to the economy of this game and of all the space, I think that is a bit of a concern too, because here you can see that the ecosystem fund has 40%, but what will make this a sustainable economy? So probably they'll use a lot of this for returns to the players and for tournaments and so on and so on. And there will be a lot of inflation through the nodes, but how are they gonna make it good for the players? This is something that I haven't found good information about, and kind of makes sense when they don't have really a game that is active. So we're gonna have to wait and see on this one. Are they gonna have like incentives for the players to sell stuff, or are they gonna collect fees from every little sale, which probably is gonna be their model? But how many of them that will be, and will that make the project profitable and sustainable for the long run on its own? These are all things that we're about to discover with MYRIA, and currently we don't really have any data for. Another potential problem that I might have with this project, I still don't have it, but it's with the nodes. I've seen other gaming projects have nodes, and the way that it works, let's say it's just not good for the economy of the entire token. It's good for the creators of the project, but we have to see how MYRIA will act when they release their nodes. So this will be planned here on April 13th. So if you're looking this video into the future, you'll be able to see first if they kept their deadline here, and also what will be the mechanics of this node license and how much it will cost and what will be the price. There's a limit of the number of nodes that they're going to be licensing, but then the prices will increase with every node sold. So at some point there might be an equilibrium of, let's say, 10,000 nodes are sold, and you get, let's say, 5 MYRIA per day. But then the new node costs like, I don't know, $5,000 or $6,000. I've seen this in another project. and so then it doesn't make sense to have a node running, and it's, you know, super expensive, and probably there will be additional requirements besides you know, owning the node. And then they will be getting a bunch of rewards, and obviously we don't know what kind of split there will be. Are the node operators gonna get all of the rewards, or maybe it will be something like 50-50 again? I've seen this in other projects, and the owners of the project will get 50% of the rewards while somebody else is running the node, or the founders will buy the cheap nodes themselves, and they will pump up the price, and then they will be mining their own tokens, and this is the way that they're gonna be inflating the supply and making them rich also in the process. So it's kind of an unknown. These are the concerns that I have. Maybe they do it well. We'll see. We'll see how this goes, but definitely something like a milestone to keep an eye on. And this actually brings me to my overall thesis. Let's just quickly look at the chart of MYRIA. You can see here that it had a nice push. And even if we disable all the drawings, it had a beautiful accumulation here in this area. And then we had a big nice push to the upside, and currently we're beautifully just, you know, having this retracement, which it's textbook retracement for a lower cap token. So 618 retracement, we just snap through it, and this is the next area that I'm interested in. So that's around 0.004 cents per token. And actually we can do a nice comparison because there's a lot of competition in the space, especially in the gaming infrastructure. Beam is one of my probably most favorite plays in the space, and you can see here that from around this level they made to the top around 500%. So that's about 6x. Keep in mind, this launched as a different project initially. Merit Circle was called. Now they launched a new token, but from here to here, it's a nice little push. You know, for the same time period, so somewhere in October, end of October, MYRIA was somewhere in this area, so just about to exit its accumulation stage. So pretty similar chart, and you can see the behavior is pretty similar. From here to the top, this is like 900%, so a cool 10x. And this is exactly what I want to see. You know, if I'm risking more on a lower market cap token, I want to see better returns, and that's why I'm interested in MYRIA, because if you look at the chart, it pretty much looks quite good. Okay, on the downside you have the same risks because Beam has dropped to the lows here. It has dropped like 50%, and MYRIA, let's see how much it dropped from the top to the lowest point. It's like 63-64% drop. So definitely on the lower side you can also see this, but it's a higher beta play within the gaming ecosystem. And definitely the chart is looking interesting. So in this area, if we see some kind of accumulation, I'm honestly considering adding some to my holdings for the long term, because I still don't hold any MYRIA at the time of recording, but I am interested if I see some kind of a pattern to accumulate this lower. Maybe it gets even lower. I'm also interested actually in Beam, but I wanted to see how it will behave in this area because it has kind of a clean range here around 1 billion market cap. So again, very interesting to compare this one and MYRIA, because I think they're quite similar, and pretty much I would just monitor price and decide a bit later, because there's a lot of things not to like with this project. I'm still on the fence, but in general, even if fundamentally it's not a great project like others, this doesn't guarantee you that a certain project will pump or will not pump. They're in the right narratives. There's a lot of noise about this, and I think that's much more important in a boom run than the actual fundamentals. And I can give you a perfect example, because I did get fundamental on Magic, which is another gaming infrastructure token. I really liked it. You know, the fundamentals made a lot of sense. However, the hype was not there, and you saw the percentages on the other two tokens, and here from the lows at the same date for Magic, it pumped like 200%, so 3x. Very you know, minuscule returns, especially if you consider that, you know, I bought somewhere in this area, and I'm still like at break even or a little bit underwater. But yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on, and definitely I think MYRIA could be a very good play if they deliver at least a little bit of hope also on the fundamentals. That's everything for this video, guys, and if you have any questions, you know how to find me.